Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Nello. In this episode, I'm gonna go a bit personal and talk about my event series. I've gotten so many questions. People saying, Nello, what happened to the event? Why did you guys stop doing the event? I'm going to share exactly why I decided to pause the event series. Now, if you've been following me, you know that I had talked about it in a previous YouTube video that I'm going to share why I decided to take a break and go back to my 9 to 5, and I'm going to share exactly what happened in this video. The first thing I want to share is that we had a very successful run. I would consider what we had a very successful run, considering the fact that we had no sponsors. It was completely bootstrapped. I say that it was successful. We had 3 successful events. As a matter of fact, the first event was so good. The feedback was so great. People kept asking when the next one was, and that's the reason why we continued to plan more events. I'm going to share what I would do differently and also the things that I think that we did really well. The first thing is why we actually stopped the event. I ran out of capital. Now you have to understand that at the time when I was running this event, these events were fully funded by my 9 to 5. There was no external sponsor, there was no external investor. Events were completely funded by my salary. And this is me being 110% transparent. And so when I wasn't working and the event couldn't sponsor itself, and I kept saying, I remember telling my team consistently, I want this event to be able to sponsor itself. I feel like after 3 events, 4 events, the event should be able to sponsor itself to a certain extent. Maybe not get to the point where we're profitable, but operationally, we should be able to sponsor like our operations. And when that wasn't happening, I started to side eye the way that we were operating. I realized that we needed to do a lot of cost cutting, and that eventually led to the decision of pausing the event. Now, I'll share other factors that led to pausing the event. I just realized that we were struggling to stay as lean as possible to make sure that this event was running. There was no enthusiasm from the community. I felt like the community was not enthusiastic about the event. It became something that nobody really wanted. I don't know whether there's something that I was missing, because for the first 2 events, the feedback was really good. We started receiving negative feedback as we continue to improve the events, right? Because with each event, the location got bigger, things got bigger. We were scaling really, really quickly. And scaling is expensive. But the strategy was more money invested, more returns, right? Except the community wasn't buying in. I remember telling my team, is there any point of us breaking our backs, trying to find sponsors, trying to do all of this for people just not to want the product? Like, they don't want the event. There's nothing we can do about it, right? And that was one of the many factors that led to us pausing. The second factor was Instagram actually taking down the pages. I felt like there was so much controversy around those events that Instagram was like, yeah, you're violating our community guidelines and we're going to take down all your pages. Not only did they take down my pages, they banned my IP. So I couldn't open any other page on Instagram. It was so frustrating. I was here. This is me working hard. I didn't have a 9 to 5. I was a full-time entrepreneur, trying to find someone to invest in this event, trying to find out to buy into what we're doing. I was going from meeting to meeting, company to company, trying to raise funding. At this point, I was like, yeah, the next thing I need to do is just get someone to throw money at me. And it was so difficult because the community, I don't know if I was canceled. Guys, let me know if you think I was canceled, because honestly, is that what cancellation feels like? Maybe I was canceled, but I just felt like my community disappeared at that point. I was like, I don't have any community. Like, where is the community? Because I would go to these investors to say, hey, we have a community of tech enthusiasts. We're doing this event. Would you sponsor? And they'll be like, but I don't see the community. Where's the community? And I'll be like, where are the people? I felt like I was drowning, because it's like, I'll say, oh yeah, there's 90,000 people in the community. And they're like, okay, if I had 10% active from the 90,000 people in the community, it would make sense. But it felt like it was cricket. And then when the pages were taken down, I said, you know what? It is time for us to wrap this up. I am going back to work. I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like I was canceled. Honestly, if I was canceled, I don't know, and I don't want to know. I want to protect myself and my own mental health. I don't care what anybody is saying about me. It doesn't bother me. Like, as long as I'm whole and myself, I'm fine. But there's a part of me that feels like I was canceled. I did see some things on the internet. But the thing, my strategy is, if you don't call Nello, it's not me. You're not talking about me, right? If you want me to reply to you, you have to mention me. If you haven't mentioned my name or anything, like, I'm never gonna like get involved in anything that is messy. I just don't have time for that. So I never got involved in any of the messy things. But that really, I feel like for those who are part of this community and believe in this community, because I know that you guys are out there, I owe you guys an explanation. And that's why I'm making this video, to let you know completely why I decided to pause on the event. It just wasn't worth it anymore. I was like, I feel like I have to go back and work and generate that capital, because no investor was going to invest in a brand where the numbers were not what it's supposed to be, right? To them, they'll feel like they're not going to get the ROI that they need. So I feel like it was time to go back to the drawing board, and that's exactly what I did. I'm going to talk about the things that I did wrongly. Now, unlike a lot of businesses that you see shut down, and I'm going to reference the Black-owned business. There's a lot of conversation around the Amikole business shutting down and the fact that she mismanaged funds. Now, I've also seen another influencer, her name is Flynas. She did the exact same thing, where she did her business full-time, ran out of money, and went back to her 9 to 5. I don't think in my case that it was a situation where we mismanaged funds. We were very lean. All our team was offshore. It was just, in our case, running out of capital. There was no mismanagement of funds. In our case, we stayed very lean. I did a lot of hands-on work. That's why I was so torn. Like, look at me now, look at me when I was running this event. You know, there's a clear difference. I'm well rested now. I wasn't rested at all. I was working 24/7 to bring this event to life, right? And the only reason I was working that hard is because I wanted to stay as lean as possible, because we didn't have the funding to hire more people. I was like, no, we're not hiring anybody. We're staying lean, right? And that's how business works. I'm also saying this because I want you guys to give founders grace. A lot of people think that, well, once you're a founder, you know, you're a millionaire, you know, you're making or racking in all this money. No, it comes with more responsibility. And I think I've said this in my other video. It's more work. To whom much is given, much is expected. It is more challenging than working a regular 9 to 5. It is rewarding, I'll tell you that for a fact, but there is no reward without the work. So you have to do that work, and a lot of people don't even make it. People die of first year, second year, third year. Only a handful of businesses succeed. A majority of businesses do not succeed. So you see someone trying to build something, clap, celebrate them. This is something that I know, and that's why I'm always supportive of other people's businesses, because I know how difficult and challenging it is to build a brand, to build a business. All of these things are difficult. It requires so much time, commitment, investment, and I always will try to support if I can. But if I'm not supporting, it's not because I don't like you. It's just because I'm busy running my own business. I'm busy running my own brand, okay? So I feel like I needed to get that out of the way. Just supporting every other person who is building. I know it's hard, it's challenging, but also allowing you guys to understand exactly why I decided. I'm using the word pause because I might do an event or two in the future. Who knows? If you guys want it, I'm going to do it. If I feel like we're in a better place, that I'm more stable, I'm well regulated, I'm not overworked like I was, I might say, okay, you know what? It's time for us to do this event. I'm going to be a bit more selfish this time, just because I feel like I was so selfish initially, and that ran me to the ground. You know, I put the event first. I put the business first. I'm going to like make sure that I'm well, so that I can give this event the best, because I can't give my best if I'm not well, right? So that's definitely one thing that I feel like I could have done better. The second thing I feel like I could have done better is the people that I worked with. I don't feel like I chose people here that were on board with the vision. Oh my God, if you're going to work with people, make sure that they are 10 over 10 on board with the vision. If they are not buying into your vision, they don't need to be working with you, right? I think that there was a lot of people that I worked with here. The majority of the offshore team were really aligned, right? But people that were here, they had other incentives. They had other plans. It didn't feel like they were on board fully. It felt like they were doing it because of what they could gain, because of maybe clout or like whatever. And it just caused a lot of misalignment internally. It caused us to scale too quickly, because personally, if it was just me running the business, I wouldn't have scaled as quickly as we scaled. But you know, I felt like They wanted to compete on a global scale, and that's why we scaled as quickly as we did, of which I understand, but we just were not prepared for that financially, right? There was also the reason of me having done all this groundwork. So bringing people in is much more challenging than when you guys start something together and build it from scratch. It's so much more easier for you to build something from scratch from people. When you're bringing people in, there's negotiation that has to happen, or how much percentage are you guys getting? Are you guys getting paid? Are you guys getting equity in exchange? And all that is not always pretty. And that's all I'll say. It's not always pretty. So I think with the areas that I made mistakes was the team that I chose. I should have chosen better, number one. And then number two, obviously, I feel like we scaled too quickly. Outside of that, I wouldn't trade that experience for anything. I love challenges. And I think that it was a very good challenge and a learning experience. And I came out of that even stronger, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. So if you ever wondered why we paused Connect, this is exactly why. I hope you guys like this video. More tutorials are going to be on the channel. More how-tos are going to be on the channel. If you have any question, happy to answer them. Be sure to leave comments in the comment section. And as always, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.